Let's see what Yahweh's mind was and what happened. You understand? At this time in the earth. Chapter 18, verse 20 through 21. It says here, and Yahweh said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come up unto me. And if not, I will know. Yahweh came first to investigate Sodom and Gomorrah. He was getting so many bad reports, so much violence going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. When you read about Sodom and Gomorrah, it'll make you think about the world we live in today. Because Sodom and Gomorrah was not just a place of homosexuality. That's what it's mostly known for. But Sodom and Gomorrah was a place that had political corruption, judicial corruption. You understand? Civil corruption. It was corrupt in every way, in every stage, in every status. And what did Yah do to it? He destroyed it from off the face of this earth. But yet, we don't believe that the Creator will destroy us. Just like the men did not believe in Noah's time. Just like Sodom and Gomorrah, they were living their lives, waking up every day, doing the same things, you understand. Stiff-necked people wouldn't turn. Just like in Noah's time, people was just going about their daily affairs. And Noah started telling them that the Creator is about to destroy this place. But they didn't believe it. In their minds, they didn't see an end to their world. Can you see an end to this world today? I don't think so. I don't think so. When we look in Amos chapter 9, we look here at the 8th verse. Here in Amos chapter 9, in the 8th verse, it says, behold, the eyes of Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom. Just like we saw back in Bereshit or Genesis. The Creator's mind is on His creation. And He's dealing with His creation. We need to accept that. He came down to investigate Sodom and Gomorrah. And once finding that the report was true, He brought down the final judgment. Destroy it. He told the death angel, He told the angels, go and destroy that place. Now, look what He says. Behold, the eyes of Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Yaakov, said Yahweh. Now the Creator said He's not a man that He should have to repent, because He done lied to you. He's not a man that He should lie. We need to accept these words. Take heed to these words, brothers and sisters. We know from our study of history that the book of Daniel is accurate concerning the rise of global powers in this earth. This was written according to the word of Yahweh. We go to the book of Daniel, chapter 7. Here in the book of Daniel, chapter 7. It says in the book of Daniel, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. So he wrote this dream, and he mentioned this dream. A lot of time we dream, and sometimes is unusual. When we have unusual dreams and we wake up with it on our mind, we talk to people about it because we want to know if it has certain meaning to it. Daniel wanted to know, was there meaning to this dream? And so Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. So you see, here, this lion is rising up. That means now that this was the authority of heaven. This was the authority of God. Causing this kingdom to rise up in the earth. And notice what kind of kingdom. Symbolic lion. You know, it wasn't no good kingdom. It was a kingdom that was going to devour and bring wickedness upon this earth. Oppression to this earth. Violence to this earth. Hardship to this earth. Then he says now, and behold, another beast, a second like to a bear. And it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. Now here, again, after this first kingdom, here comes another one. Notice the description, a bear. And the bear is to rise and devour. These are not pleasant kingdoms that's rising up in the earth that Daniel is foreseeing. Then he says, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Now this particular beast had 4 heads. Notice the differences. This second beast had 3 ribs in its mouth, the bear. This third beast has 4 heads. The first beast is a lion. And there's nothing particularly unusual about it, except that it had eagle's wings. Came down from heaven, authorized by God. Now, if I would have had a dream like this, yeah, I would have got up and talked to somebody about it too. What in the world do this mean? Then he went on to say, after this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Now he did not describe this beast in particular like he did the leopard, the bear, and the lion. But he did say this beast had 10 horns. Horn represent powers. And we know what beast that is. That beast is still ruling the earth today. The first beast he saw was the Chaldeans. The second one he saw was the Medes and the Persians. The third one he saw was the Grecians. And the Greeks, the reason why he saw 4 heads, because Alexander, when he died, his power went to his 4 generals. And now this last beast that has 10 horns was the 10 powers of Europe. the 10 powers of Europe. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. Now, he said he beheld until a little horn sprung up and destroyed 3 of those powers. And those 3 powers was the Vandals, the Ostrogoths, and the Heracles. These 3 was destroyed by the Roman Pope because they would not accept Christianity. And the Roman Catholic Church rose up out of the Roman Empire, the Roman world. You see? And it increased in power and still has power today in 2020. And so, when we look at these things, and we see that verse 9 said, and I beheld till the thrones were cast down. That means that I continue to observe this matter until the thrones, these kingdoms, these kings was cast down. Who cast them down? And the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool, his throne like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. The Ancient of Days is talking about Yahweh. And all of those angels that's keeping record of your life, Israel, your life, not the heathen, not the so-called white man, not the Chinese, not the Japanese, you understand? Not the Cuban, but you, Israel, that reside in all of these different places through the diaspora. You that's calling on his name, you're going to have a day in court after death. And then it's a place the Creator going to put you. Just like man have a place to put a criminal called prison. And in prison, your life is tormented every day. So we need to consider these things. Consider these things. Now, here it says, as concerning, and I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away. Where are the Chaldeans today? Where are the Medes and Persians today? Where are their dominion? They were once in their glory, they were global powers. The Chaldeans had influence over all nations and power and authority over all nations. The Medes and Persians, Yah lifted them up and gave them power and authority over all nations. He lifted the Grecians up and gave them power and authority, global power. Just like he lifted up the European, the Edomite. Yes, the Edomite. You know, heard a lot of things about this white man, but he's an Edomite. He's Esau. And so the Creator had lifted him up for a purpose. Remember, he created the wicked man for what? The evil day. These men was an instrument in his hand to correct you, Israel. And once he was through with 70-year captivity was up with the Chaldeans, he destroyed them. He sent the Medes and Persians. He sent another wicked man to destroy that wicked man. And then when he finished with the Medes and Persians, he sent the Grecians to destroy them. Another wicked man to destroy that man. We didn't do it. Just like we're not going to destroy this heathen that we're living and residing in amongst them today. We're not going to destroy them. I hear some brothers and gangs talking about a revolution. Ain't gonna be no revolution. You can forget that. You're going to be caught up in the drag of this thing and destroyed with these sinners, these heathens. Keep on thinking like you're thinking and don't repent from your wickedness. It's going to be a real revolution, not the kind you think. We need to wake up. I saw in the night vision, and they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of the heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him, and there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom. See? Rise, Israel. We are the next global power to rise up on this earth. In fact, we have no business being down here in an inferior position in the first place. We are a royal seed because we are children of the Most High. See, we have no business living like we live and experiencing what we're experiencing. But you know, when a child won't behave, you got to whoop him. He bought that experience up on himself. And a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which should not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. A world without end, Israel. That's what he promised you. A world without end. The European world is going to end. You understand? But then here in Isaiah 45:17, it says, but Israel shall be saved in Yahweh with an everlasting salvation. Ye should not be ashamed nor confound the world without end. All these other kingdoms had a limit, a distance. But you don't have one. Your kingdom is not going to be limited with time. A world without end, brothers and sisters. We look here. And so this so-called white man is the last of them. And what is his fate? When we look at Daniel chapter 8, here at the 19th through 25th verse, it says, and he said, behold, I will not make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at the time appointed the end shall be. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Mede and Persia. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king, Alexander. Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. They did not have the power, you see. And in the latter time of their kingdom, I mean when their kingdom is coming to its end. See, look at that, like a tide. Like a tide. Something happens simultaneously. They declining, another one rising. This is what's going on today in the world. The world is declining and Israel is rising. Slowly rising. There's a regime change and you don't even realize it's going on. Yahweh is beginning to empower his people. Turn their attention back home. Resurrecting their minds and telling them now is the time. Now is the time. Just like it was with these Greeks. As they were declining, the European was rising on the scene. Look what it says now. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully. See, Constantine stood up and began to do things, to change laws, to change and decree new laws in the church to change the Creator's words. And today, that's what we live by. Those changes. That's why we go to church on Sunday. That's why we say, January is a new year at the deadest time of the year. But yet, in the spring, that's where April Fool comes, because a lot of people still saying April, you understand, they call them April Fool, because they had to create change. But you can't change nature. That's why you sit there talking about 1 minute after 12, good morning. Morning mean light. Evening mean darkness. Then 1 minute after 12 in the morning, you say good evening, and it's still light outside. That's a deception. That's a deception. You've been educated in deceit. Look what the white man, as you call him, has done to you. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and holy people. The white man is the one that brought down the final destruction to us. He is the one that Yah used, because in Deuteronomy 32 he tell you that I'm going to cause the remembering of you to cease from among men. Yahweh used him to wipe out all knowledge of us, because he made us abandon our history and our culture in this place. And as he was doing that, the Khazarians was slowly but surely creeping into our home. The Safarians was already there in the southern region. But this Edomite came in later, during the time of these Europeans' rise. And so they are there now. And that's why you speak Ashkenazi, which is German. Ashkenaz. See? So you need to know what's going on in this world, and pay attention to what's coming down from heaven and not what's coming down from Washington, D.C. Look what he says now. And through his policy also he should cause craft to prosper. Now he wrote it in his own history that he's a forger of documents. That he's a liar. He don't honor the so-called Indians found out in a bad way that he do not honor any contract that he write. And now you have a president that don't want to honor the Constitution. That's his nature. That's his nature. That's what a beast do. The beast don't walk on a plane honorably. When he walk on the plane, the other animals, the harmony is gone. They fear, because they know his mind is bad. And he's going to disrupt things and destroy. Look what he says now. And he shall magnify himself. Didn't the white man magnify himself? That's why he started calling himself white. He even made his God be white. His God was black, and still black in Europe. And he began to say that he was superior above all other races. So he began to magnify himself. We see this today. That's what's wrong with the world. We call it racism. But Yah is saying that he is doing what? Lifting himself up high above all others. Whether he used it through the instrument of racism, capitalism, or any other ism. This is what he's doing. This is what he have done. This is what he's continuing to do. But this was written before he ever was. And so we need to listen. He says, and by peace, everywhere he go, he telling me he coming to bring peace. But when he leaves, hell is left behind. The world with all these peace treaties and this and that. He want to disarm you and don't want you to make guns and don't want you to make bombs, but yet he making them every day. You're just a plumb fool to listen to this man. He came to this Indian talking about peace. Now they living on a reservation. The peace is they got a piece of land. When he go into these third world countries, he don't come in there with peace. He come in there with his mercenaries and all these type of men, and they kill and manipulate the political scene and change things to their favor. But he promising you that he coming there to bring you liberty, to free you from the control of dictatorship. But when he leave, your world is far, far messed up. It's not like it used to be. Now you're over there crying for food and you're stealing, and crime that went up in these third world countries where they didn't hardly have no prisons and none of these type of things. People were farming, getting along. Now these big corporations from these places and went into these countries, they got the best land. They took over the government of your countries. They somehow end up with all the mineral, you understand, rights of your land. They're pillaging your land. But the Creator said He's going to devour this earth. So we need to wake up now. And by peace shall destroy many. And he shall also stand up against the prince of princes. But he shall be broken without hand. So we're not going to do it. Y'all going to do it. He have a unique way of doing these type of things. He's good at what he do. And so we need to listen, hear, and understand. Confusion is a tool used in war. And this is what the Creator's telling you. I'm going to try to be quick because I know my time is winding down. In Jeremiah chapter 25, let's go back to this cup of wine. Let's go back to this cup in the Creator's hand. And what is the purpose of this cup? Here in Jeremiah chapter 25 verse 15. For thus said Yahweh, ruler of Israel, unto me, take the wine cup of this fury. See? Some whiskey, you drink that gin, because I myself used to be an alcoholic. I myself used to be a drug addict. So I know from experience how this stuff will enrage and inflame your heart and make you act a plumb fool. I done been to jail numerous times. So I know that this stuff can cause you to lose your mind and your understanding. And when you come back to your understanding, you're in places where you don't even know how you got there. You don't even remember half the stuff you be done. Now you walk around feeling shame and you know, embarrassed. Because people saying, man, you know you act a fool last night. I ain't know you act like that, man. So when we look at this, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand and cause all nations to whom I send thee to drink it. See, the wine cup is spiritual knowledge that's going to cause confusion. Knowledge that's going to cause confusion. Democracy and all these things have caused confusion in all nations of the earth. Then got them drunk. Look what it says now. And they shall drink and be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among them, the destruction I'm going to send among them. Look at the world now. Look at the activity that's going on in the world. Look what he says. Then took I the cup at Yahweh's hand, and made all the nations to drink, unto whom Yahweh has sent me. To wit, Jerusalem. It started with us. Sweep around your own back door is a song they made out there in the Christian world. Yah started with his children. He brought us down. Now, he says, and the cities of Judah, and the kings thereof, and the princes thereof, to make them a desolation, an astonishment, a hissing, and a curse, as it is this day. Look at how we living. You ride around and you look at this Edomite, and you see all of his glory, nice houses and land, and it's diminishing now, because you look around now, abandoned building, stuff like this going on. He losing his power, he losing his luster, he losing his glory. But there was a time, man, you just ride around and everything looks so pristine and neat and clean, and you be like, wow. You go in their neighborhoods, you be like, wow, like you're in a whole nother world. Whole nother world. But look at what's going on today. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and his servants, and his princes, and all his people. See, starting in Africa. Israel, Egypt. These are Africans, as you call them today. Israel is in Africa. Egypt is in Africa. So the Creator is starting right there where creation, where he started. You understand? Where he created man. He's starting right there. And look what he says. And all the mingled people, and all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Ashkelon, and Azar, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod, Edom, there you go, European, Moab, and the children of Ammon, and all the kings of Tyrus, and all the kings of Zidon, and all the kings of the isles which are beyond the sea, Dedan and Timnah and Buz, and all that are in the uttermost corners, and all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert, and all the kings of Zimri, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Medes, and all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world. That's global. That's why you watch world news and everybody's being affected by this foolishness. The world just had one big party with democracy. And when the party get near the end, you have a lot of drunks. And that's when they go to fighting, and that's when they go to acting a fool. And if you study history, all kingdoms, you know when it's near the end, because they go to playing games, they get obese and all these here type of things. They go to getting careless and all this here, and trouble rise, and next thing you know, wham, just read. Read history. See if I'm lying to you. Read the history of the Greeks. Read the history of the Medes and Persians. Read the history of the Chaldeans. See what happened when their nations began to fall and decline. See what kind of characterizations they took on. Look what it says here. And all the kingdoms of the world which are upon the face of the earth, and the king of Shishak shall drink after them. Therefore thou shalt say unto them, Thus say Yahweh of hosts, the ruler of Israel, Drink ye, and be drunken, and spew and fall, and rise no more, because of the sword which I will send among you. See, now it's time for the fighting. Y'all done had the good time. You done had this earth for so long, and you done spread your influence throughout the whole earth. There's no place on this earth that you haven't touched. When you look at all of the islands, you go down to Brazil and you go out there in the ocean. I mean, all these tribes and ancient tribes, you done affected everything. With your doctrines, your religions, and your science and your politics. And now look what's happening. These very things coming back to bite you in the butt. Look what's happening now. Because our king, see, there's a king that you don't want to recognize. And he's speaking now. Look what he says now. And it should be if they refuse. Huh? Because before Trump got into office, you had the UN. You had all these different treaties with these different nations. You had allegiance with all these different countries. These European countries was pulling together. But then, look at how Obama and Clinton and different ones prevented war. Prevented all this other kind of stuff. Kept contagious diseases like this pandemic from reaching these shores. Had somebody to sound the alarm. Now ain't nobody sounding the alarm because Trump done fired all them. Nobody to look out what's coming your way no more. Look what he says now. If they refuse to take the cup at thine hand to drink, then thou shalt say unto them, thus say Yahweh of hosts, ye should certainly drink. So if you don't want to take this, you trying to prevent it, you using all your political power and knowledge and influence. But the Creator said, you're not going to succeed. You may be trying to refuse my judgment, but you're going to play into my hands. And that's the thing that you see going on today. They played into his hand. You can't outwit the Creator. Confusion. That's one of the things, that's how, you know, when you playing chess, that's one of the things you want to do, get inside your opponent's head. Make him get on the defensive. Get him confused in his game. Let him start making mistakes. Start making mistakes. Using poor judgment. Misjudging, misreading the board. You make misleading moves. Take his mind in the wrong direction. See, for lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name, and should ye be utterly unpunished? So now the Creator said, if I would begin to bring this evil upon my children, you think you gonna get away with it? And you done influence my children to disobey me? You think I'm not gonna deal with you? You think I'm not gonna put you in check? Sure, you might say, well, you know, they the reason that we done this. If they hadn't been sinning against you, you understand? So really, we shouldn't have to be punished. Yes, you're going to be punished. You're going to be punished. Look what he says now. Ye should not be unpunished, for I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, said Yahweh. Therefore prophesy thou against them all these words, and say unto them, Yahweh shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation. He shall give a shout, as they that tread the grapes, against all the inhabitants of the earth. All. Not some, not most. That's why he said some of Israel are going to die too. He said he's not going to utterly destroy Israel. We're talking about death from one end of the earth to the other. Look what he says now. And a noise shall come even to the ends of the earth. For Yahweh had a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword. Now, brothers and sisters, you listening, you need to get your act together. You need to be prepared. The window of opportunity is steady closing. And you're going to wake up just like it was when Noah went into that ark and Yah sealed that door. It was too late. It was too late. Some of you are going to wake up and it's going to be too late. And you'll be saying, what that brother that y'all sent out there, what them other mores and teachers? Because I'm not the only one. You have a great brother, Kohen Mikael Ben Levi, down in South America. I watch that brother. Sometimes I'm sitting there watching YouTube. That's how, I've seen him a couple times on YouTube. I don't know him personally. But from the few things that I've heard him say, I know Yah is working with that brother. Many saviors is coming up on Israel. And we're going to talk about that topic too, what a savior is one day. I'm just going to throw that yum in there for you and let you just think about that. Now, thus say Yahweh of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. And the slain of Yahweh shall be at that day from one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth. They should not be limited, neither gathered nor buried. They should be dung upon the ground. And so, brothers and sisters, confusion is a part of that. Confusion in leadership. We go to the book of Obadiah. And we go to the book of Obadiah. And we look here in Obadiah. Look what the Creator said He's going to do to the leadership. Now, I'm going to start at the 6th verse. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Because everybody come to America, they want the new technology, this and that. They look at, and as it was foreseen by Esau's father, he told him one day his was going to be the fat of the earth. See, it came to pass. Something that Isaac spoke thousands of years ago has come to pass. He broke his yoke from his brother Yaakov. And now he has risen to great power and wealth, just like Isaac said he would on this earth. But then all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed. So you see, your confederacy gonna break up. And you're gonna turn against each other. This is the thing that we must understand. And prevailed against thee that eat thy bread. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. So you see, those that you have come to trust, those that you have come to rely upon, they have deceived you. This man, this president, that we see today is destroying that confederacy. Shall I not in that day, say Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Timon, should be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. And so, brothers and sisters, as we're running short on time, there's a few more things that could be said. But I'm going to tell you, just like Solomon said, a fool's eyes is in the earth. And that's what we are doing. We're looking to man. That's foolish. But he said the wise man's heart is above, that he may escape hell beneath. See, we know, we that live for Yahweh, we look into a higher power, a higher authority. We know. We know. And so, you need to look to the Creator. Get with an Israelite brother or Israelite sister, wherever you are, whatever state you reside in, whatever country you reside in. Get with them so that they can begin to teach you the laws, statutes, and judgments of the coming King and the coming kingdom. I thank you once again, brothers and sisters, for your time. I hope that the Most High has enlightened you, have given you a mind to turn from your ways and to turn back to Him, that you may be saved in these last days. Once again, I'd like to say to you, Shalom.